Hi, welcome to the Amoretti Test Kitchen, and today we have a fun treat. We're going to be doing some fruity monster gummies, and I'm going to make 3 different flavors. We're going to use Mai Tai Compound, Blueberry Artisan, and Orange Cream Artisan. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make these gummies. The very super simple, pour it straight into the mold way, and then we're going to get a little more intricate for Halloween's sake, and we're gonna make some very cute little monsters. So for the monsters, the additional task is gonna be to make little eyeballs. So we're gonna need the help of our jet black food coloring as well as our snow white coloring. And the flavors are all interchangeable. Use the flavors that you prefer. If you have a flavor that you really like, but it tends to be a more tart flavor, I'm going to show you how to make it a little bit sweeter and less tart using the exact same recipe. And for that, we're going to use our agave. So let's go ahead and get started. For the gummies, you have a basic ratio. You're going to use 3 packages of gelatin. So these are 1/4 ounce packages. So for our batch is 3 packages of gelatin and 3/4 cups of liquid. Each type of Amoretti product is going to be a different ratio. As long as your final liquid amount matches up to 3/4 cup, you're good. For example, if you are going to be making gummies using a swirl, you're going to use 1/2 cup of apple juice and 1/4 cup of whichever swirl you prefer. Your total liquid is 3/4 cup. We're going to be using Artisans and Compounds today. So for the compound, we're going to use 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of apple juice and 2 tablespoons of compound. So all of that added together, 3/4 cup. Same ratio. So we're going to do 3 different flavors. So I have 1, 2, 3 pots. This 4th pot is going to be for the detail of our gummies. I'm going to not use any specific flavor in it. I want it to be as clear as possible so that I can get a true white and a true black for the eyeballs. Just to give your gummies that much more flavor, I like to use apple juice. If you're doing some red gummies, cranberry juice would be perfect. It'll keep that color really bright red, or you can use water. That's up to you. So, put your gelatin in, and I'm going to do this 4 times, and we'll go through the ratios for our different ingredients. Once you have your gelatin in the pot, have a whisk on hand, and you're going to whisk as soon as that juice, water, Amoretti product hits the pan, so you don't get any clumps of gelatin. And you're going to let it sit for at least 5 minutes so that the gelatin can bloom. Such a mess. Okay. All right, let's start with the clear one. So 1/2 cup and 1/4 cup, 3/4 cup of liquid. Apple juice. And dump it in, whisk, whisk, whisk. And set it aside for 5 minutes. No heat, nothing. Just let it do its thing. All right, I'm gonna do that a few more times. I'm gonna start with the Mai Tai compound. Okay, so when you get into using your products, whisk the gelatin with the apple juice first so that you don't have it globbing as you get your other ingredient. We're gonna do 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of apple juice. Whisk that in quickly. And then 2 tablespoons of the Mai Tai compound. Whisk, whisk, whisk. If the gelatin starts to set up before you get your compound in, don't worry about it, it's fine. That's why we're gonna agitate it when that first liquid hits the pot. Product shot. Okay. Again, let that sit for 5 minutes. All right, so Artisan, 1/2 cup plus 1 tablespoon of juice, 3 tablespoons of orange cream artisan. Let it sit. Next, the blueberry, which is a little on the tart side, and I love it. My daughter loves it. My son thinks it's too sour. So if you find that some flavors are a little too tart, I'm going to show you with the blueberry example how to adjust it. And our artisans are going to be 3 tablespoons, so do your half a cup plus 1 tablespoon of juice, and then 3 tablespoons of whichever artisan you prefer. So to offset the tartness, if your flavor happens to be too tart to your liking, I found that just 1 pump of the Amoretti agave worked really well to get the final flavor that everybody enjoyed. So remember, I need 3 tablespoons to complete my ratio. So I did 1 pump, and there's a little bit of room left. So I'm gonna top that off to have that even tablespoon to make sure the outcome of all my flavors is consistent in texture. So I'm just gonna top this off and then do my 2 spoonfuls of just the blueberry artisan. So sit for 5 minutes. Oh, look at that, the first one's ready, perfect. Okay, so your gelatin is ready. Just turn it on low. So this first one is gonna be for the little monster eyeballs. It's a process. Get comfortable, get a tall chair, get a glass of water, coffee. It's gonna take a while, but they're so stinking cute, it's worth every second of work it takes. And it's not difficult at all, it's just a bit of a waiting game. It's not about waiting for the gelatin in the mold to change temperature. It's more about making sure that the gelatin that you're gonna put for the next layer is cool enough to not melt the layer underneath it, to just get kind of oozed up into it. And I will show you my mistakes, and I'll show you my learning process. I have a lot to show you that I was not being patient with. But first, let's mix these up. All right, so until it's just melted, don't let it hit a simmer. This is ready to go. I'm gonna put some for white and some for black. I'll probably spill a whole bunch. I'm not gonna divide it evenly in half. I only need a very little bit of black. It's just for the, oh man, it's just for the little pupils. So, I'm gonna do black, and we're gonna do white. So black, almost there. I want them very, 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 very black. Perfect. So the black can go straight into the mold. We don't need that to come down in temperature because it's gonna be the first layer, but we are gonna have to wait for the white to come down in temperature before we put it on top of the black. So I have a little glass dropper. If you do not have a dropper, just dip a toothpick in it or a little spoon and just do little by little until you get the color you want. Okay, this is not totally back-breaking, but you want to get comfortable. It gets a little tedious. Okay, so eyeballs are the first step. Have plenty of toothpicks, and if a little bit drips out, you can wait for it to set and take it out completely and start over, or you can just swab it. So here we go. I think because they're monsters, it's gonna be a little more forgiving if I don't do it quite perfectly. Okay. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna give this little guy a bow tie. These are just so stinking cute. I mean, do we have to do the details? No. Does it make it way more fun? Yes. This is a little bit thicker glass, so I'm just gonna dip my knuckle into it. It is not hot, it is not warm, and it's imperative that it not be warm, because if it is, it's gonna absorb the black into it and it's gonna get oozy. Okay, I've got all my little details. I decided to pop the eyeballs, well, not the eyeballs, the molds into the fridge. You only need to do it for like 30 seconds, as long as your next layer is not warm. But while they're in the fridge, I'm gonna take half of this. This is the Mai Tai, and I'm gonna put it in a squeeze bottle. And it's clear, thank you. It's clear, you'll be able to see how pretty the color is. And then with the half that's gonna end up going on the little monster guys, I'm not gonna keep those translucent. I'm gonna add, because I already have the white gelatin mixture, I'm gonna add a little bit. You don't have to worry so much about the temperature if it's just going into a solid mold. Just don't burn yourself. Let it cool down a little bit so that it doesn't burn you through the bottle. These will come out translucent. So this is with no food coloring, just your 3 ingredients. But for the rest of this, I'm gonna take a little bit. Little goes a long way. Okay, so this is gonna be the shade that I'm going for. And I'm gonna do the pinky check and straight into the mold. This is the very quick part. I do make it sound very tedious. It's not, as long as you have a good handle on your temperatures. Okay, so Mai Tai done. Now we're gonna warm up our last 2. I'm just gonna do them at the same time. Since you can see this process goes by fairly quickly, so we'll just have one on deck. All right, these look pretty good. This part of your finger is very sensitive, which is why when I test temperatures, that's what I use. Clean dropper, and we're going into blue. So once you're done filling up all the little mold cavities, throw it in the fridge. Give it a good, I would give these about 20 minutes before you unmold them, maybe a little longer. Of course, start to unmold one, and if it comes out perfectly fine, you're good to go. These do need to stay refrigerated because they are made with natural ingredients. They'll last in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. Okay, so this is the blueberry. This color is gorgeous. It's just so pretty. Okay, little digit test. Feels good. Oh no, okay, look, the liquid was too warm because that black is part of the eyeball or the tie. But it's okay. So now you know. Now I know. It was a little too warm. So we are done. It's been about 20 minutes since the last batch went into the refrigerator. But you can see when I touch them, it is set. Could bounce a coin off of these babies. So they're good to go. So I'm gonna unmold these first, and I'll show you the difference between having no additional food coloring and having a little bit of the food coloring. Let's see, first we're the Mai Tai. They're so pretty. Doop, doop, doop. Little squishy babies. So that had no additional food coloring. It's very translucent. With the addition of the food coloring, this is the color it took on. It's gonna taste exactly the same. And the super, super vibrant orange, no food coloring. And with a little bit of the Snow White. And the last one we did was blueberry. It's gonna look very dark without the light shining behind it. And then adding some food coloring to that one. And let's unmold the monsters. Let's see how those turned out. So, crossing my fingers on these eyeballs. Ah! Oh! There you go, little cutie. So if one turned out, I'm pretty hopeful that they all turned out. Look at that little bow tie. Oh, they're so cute. Now we get to the part where I show you the ones I horribly messed up. And that's okay. You know, it's not it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought the eyes were gonna be completely purple. I do see some specks of white coloring, of the white food coloring. So I know that as the warm liquid hit the teeth and the eyeballs, it started to dissolve into it. But I gotta say, I wouldn't be able to do that on purpose, and it looks pretty cool. So I'm super happy with this one. So that's it, little cutie gummies. Show us what kind of fun gummies you come up with and tag us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Amoretti. Stay up to date on all of our recipes by subscribing to our channel and clicking on the notification bell below. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date on all of our promos, discounts, and giveaways. See you next time.